Hi guys, it's Erin, and today I'm going to be doing some coloring. And what I'm showing you are Staedtler Ergosoft pencils, and I actually really like them, and I was kind of surprised because they're more on the budget side of pencils. They were $16 for 24, and I know that's not super cheap, that's like 60 something cents a piece, but it's a lot cheaper than, polychromos and that kind of stuff. So the whole reason that I got these was because I I have a case of my Neocolors, and it has two leaves, slot things in it that have a space for 22 pencils each. And so I got two sets of different pencils, and one of them was these Ergosoft, and the other was Fae Noir Polycolor. And anyway, I was coloring with these, you can see the first three flowers on there and the leaves and stuff. And I was coloring with them, and I was really surprised that for what I consider a cheaper kind of pencil, they actually layer really well, and they have a really good pigment. Now I have pretty good lighting, and then I got better lighting, and now it's like you can't see the depth of color. And I think a lot of that has to do with also these are oil based, I'm pretty sure, just from the way that I use them and, the way they lay down. I'm pretty sure they're oil. I haven't seen any actual information on it, so don't quote me or yell at me or email me or whatever. But I think that they're oil, and that's the way they feel. And what I'm showing you here is that my technique for coloring with the pencils is the exact same as I would do with Copics, with these little flicks and stuff. So you saw I was doing the little flicks with the blue, and you can go back because I was talking over it because I'm stupid. But I was doing the little flicks because then when I come in with this darker purple, it helps to blend the colors. And you can see I'm pressing really, really lightly. I mean, there's basically no pressure on this. It doesn't matter how close I hold the pencil. I am still super light touch with these. And that's one of the reasons that I said that they laid out the pigment really well, because there's almost no pressure on this pencil, and it is still coming out as vibrant as I would expect, at least medium pressure, if not hard pressure. So, but I never actually use hard pressure because, my background is Copic coloring. I've been coloring with Copics for about 8 years now. And so you can't really put you don't have to, and you can't really put a lot of pressure on those nibs because you'll hurt them. The Sketch and the Copic Chows, they have a brush tip, and all of the nibs that Copic makes are handmade and everything. And you really don't want to press down on them hard, and you can't just, yeah. So they're delicate basically. So I learned to have a light touch. And I think that it helps with the pencils, but of course it does require a lot of layering. You can see a lot of layering here. I ended up layering after this part of the video as well. And then probably more layering. It's hard to stop because they actually are laying down really well. This paper on this coloring book is not that great, but it's not terrible. It's not like watercolor paper or marker paper. I don't know what pencil paper is. I don't know if they have that, but it's a thinner type of paper, but it's still layering and layering and layering, and you do get a feel for when you use pencils when the paper is just not going to take anymore. You can put 500 more layers on that, and it's not even going to work. It's not going to blend. You're just taking off the color that was under there, and you're putting on more color and taking more off. So that's never good. But that's why I decided to film this, and because I figured I could talk with you. And apparently some people like to hear me talk and some people don't. So if you're one of the ones that don't, I'm sorry. Because I did get this new microphone, and now I can talk a bit more, and I can talk nonsense. So that's a lot of nonsense. And what I'm trying to do is show you bits and pieces of what I'm coloring. Here are the colors that I used for his skin. And these are the colors that I use most of the time. I think I add another brown sometimes. Sometimes I like to add browns. And the one thing about this is this isn't a tutorial. This is just me coloring, and you can color with me, but I can't do things live because I can't breathe. So you can color with me in the sense that you're watching a 12-minute video of me talking and maybe being able to breathe. We'll see how it goes. It's only been 4 minutes. But the thing is, I have not defined a light source here. He ends up with light on his cheek. So I'm assuming that light is coming from, somewhere in that direction on his cheek. And then I add shadows. I add cast shadows, basically. I don't add light shadows because, I don't know. Half of the time I don't know what I'm doing. So like I said, it's not a tutorial. You can either do things the way that I do or not. But this is the way that I'm doing it. So you can sit and watch it if you want. But yeah, I like to color dark to light. I always have. When they taught us Copics in the Copic certification and all that, they taught us, do light to dark. And then I had another teacher, Jen Dove. She does light, dark, medium, and then back to light. And that's a little bit easier for me to grasp, but I still don't like it. So I've always been the one that's like, okay, give me the darkest color and I will move on from there. And so I just kind of brought that over with Copics. I bring it over into watercolor and everything. It's just what I do because, it's the worst thing for watercolor too. If you know anything about watercolor, it's all about layering light layers. And it's very similar to pencils. Just layer light layers on there, but don't start with the darkest because you're going to screw it up. So I'm always trying to define shadows like 7 years too late. And it makes no sense. But it's all about muscle memory, right? So this is how I've colored skin for, at least 6 years. So I've gotten used to it. And I know these pencils are quite small compared to all of my others because I bought these polychromos originally to go with my Copics so that once I was done with the Copic work, I could go in and define more shadows and add more shading and all that stuff that I didn't necessarily want to layer with the Copics. And pencils add texture, so texture's good. It's not actual, you can feel it texture, but it's visual texture. So here you can see me defining even more shadows with this dark charcoal. I think it's cool gray. Yeah, it's cool gray, so it's like blue gray. You can tell the difference in blue. Technically, I should have been using warm gray because warm gray is more for alive things, but I like cool grays. So usually with Copics, I use the tonal gray, which I don't know what the equivalent of that is. But I'm just defining the shadows more because I didn't like how they were going there. And I gave him a tiny little cheek, which I should have defined the shadow on that more, but I think it adds more to his face. Like he's very grr right now, and I didn't want to go too crazy with it, make him look mad because he's got, he's obviously about to go to battle. The other side of this coloring book is called Fae Nouveau, by the way, and it's by Herb Leonhard. I'll put that in the description box. It's available on both Amazons, I've checked, both being America and the UK. There's a billion Americas, or a billion Amazons, and I'm stupid saying that there's only 2. But anyway, the other side of this it says, the bellflowers sound the call to arms. The realm is well guarded by beetles in June. So he's got a little beetle, a June beetle right next to him, see? And he's wearing a bellflower as his armor because apparently that's what he is. Or, he's one of the bellflower fairies. And yeah, I have no idea what pinks I was grabbing here. One was super bright, and then one of those is the skin tone, and one of those is super dark. Because I didn't want to have his face or his lips be too pink, because you can do that, especially with men. You can just go crazy on accident if you're used to doing females, and then it's like, whoa, what's wrong with his mouth? So I didn't want to do that. So I used like a really weird brown, and I don't know what it was. So yeah. And this is the last part that I'm doing here. I'm showing you the leaves. I finished most of the flowers, and then the only thing that I did with the rest of the leaves is I colored in this base color that you just saw me do. And what I didn't do on the one above on the upper left is I didn't add this dark brown that comes in the set. None of them have names, so I just kind of show them to you. I will in a minute. I just kind of show them to you because they don't have names. And I don't know why my camera's doing this. I'm so sorry. I can't look at the camera while I'm coloring because it's above my head. So I had no idea it was doing this or why. My lighting is actually, like I said, it's actually really good compared to how it was. But I don't want to flash it out too much. And you can see the shine from the pencils. So I knew that it was getting too overexposed. So I don't know. Maybe the camera does not like this. So yeah, I'm really sorry. But yeah, those were the pencils there, and they don't have names. So what I did was, I added the brown on here to define the shadows, but it's not going to stay brown because as many different kinds of bellflowers that I saw on Google, which, you know, if you don't know what a flower looks like, especially if the book is handy enough to tell you exactly what kind of flower it is, Google it. There's billions of images there. Find what it looks like. I still can't figure out how he's holding something that's thorny when every single image I found of these bellflowers are not thorny. So the only thing I can conclude is he's not holding a thorn spear, or he's not holding a bellflower spear. But I just kind of colored it, whatever. Some of the leaves that I found had red in them. Some of the leaves that I found had no red in them. Some of them had, you know, just brown, and some of them had super, super green. So I kind of went with super, super green because this range has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 greens for a 24 set. So it has a lot, not like a lot, but it has a good range of greens for how little colors that I have. And I figured I would just use them all, right? Because why not? And sorry. I made it 10 minutes. I made it 11 minutes. Okay, so that's not bad. I made it 11 minutes without coughing at you. If you don't know, I have cystic fibrosis. That's why I cough and I'm annoying. I'm sorry. But anyway, I thought I would use just all of the greens, and what I used the brown for was darkening that dark shade of green to just pop out those darks a lot better. Because as I was coloring, I noticed that they are tending to, you know, meld into each other. And you can see that the green, this really, really light green is doing better. And I am so sorry. It's so blurry. Oh my God. I have a picture at the end of this, and you'll see it in a minute. So that might help. But yeah, here's where I'm darkening the brown with the green, so you can start to see the shadows come through. And it does actually make it onto camera, so I'm happy about that. So anyway, this is how I color the Ergosoft Nice. If you want to get some of yours, apparently Amazon UK has a 36 set. The only thing I can find on Amazon America is the 24 set that I got, which was what I was looking for, so it was fine. But yeah, there's a Johanna Basford 24 set, or 36 set. And they're really nice. They're triangular, which is cool because it helps keep a point. And they feel good. They have like a paint on them that feels like soft. It's so hard to say, but they are Ergosoft, okay? Like you're holding them, they're really nice to hold. So I may or may not make another video as I finish this. I don't tend to work on things straight through or anything like this, but there are other things to color in this. So I'll try. Okay, and here's what it looks like when my light is not blown out. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye.